to Happy Wife, Happy Life. We're your hosts. I'm Kendahl Landreth.
And I'm Jordan Myrick.
And we're two incredibly unqualified,
but deeply in love comedians who are here to help you with all things relationship. And today, we are helping you with your most difficult problems. So we brought in an additional professional advice giver, Miles Bonsignore.
Hi!
Miles!
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's so wonderful to have you. You might know Miles from Try Guys or the Perfect Person podcast. We had so many fans be like, you have to get Miles on the podcast. So we did it.
I'm glad that my fans are out there guerrilla tactic style getting me on shows.
Big time.
I mean, you guys did on my show, and it was obviously a delight. You were so fun.
It was so fun.
Well, I was just telling you before we started rolling that after we left recording, I was deeply mad at Jordan because I said, why did you not ever pitch us getting a soundboard?
Yeah, the soundboard it can be too powerful, I will say, because I'll hit the fart noise too many times.
Not possible.
And there's obviously a fringe group that is not fan of the fart noise. They don't like that.
Of course.
Of course.
Well, I felt like I'd never really seen one before, and in my head after we left, I was like, and that's why we're not as successful as we could be, because we don't have that. I was like, if we had that soundboard, everything would be different.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, you can put different fun things in there. Sometimes people say stuff on the show and it goes on the soundboard.
That's really fun.
Yeah. One of the sound effects was just it's a misogyny alert. And it was my friend saying, all aboard, misogyny alert.
All aboard?
All aboard. We decided to do it like Crazy Train.
I love that.
Sort of the laugh and the, yeah.
You cannot invite me on the podcast ever again because the whole episode will be me trying to make a soundbite for your soundboard.
Kendall will be going, big time, uh-oh, like right into the camera every 30 seconds.
It's like someone trying to make a TikTok audio, like really intentionally.
Yeah. I also will say, if anyone's here from your podcast and listened to the episode with Kendahl and I do just kind of want to update everyone. I know we helped a woman who had some of her crotch waxed off.
Yes, she did.
By her boss. And I told her that it was going to be okay because I too had some of my crotch waxed off.
That's
I don't know why you told her it would be okay, because your life is terrible now.
Well, and that's what I want to touch
on your ass every night.
That's what I wanted to touch base on. I'm actually not okay still. I hope she's okay.
No.
I still have patches of issue spots where Kendahl has to rub an ointment every night.
Issue spots, I imagined it was in italics, but
yeah, quotes, italics,
spots.
Underlined, question mark.
Oh my God, that's terrible. Well, I don't know that I've called her back yet, because I call people back sometimes on the show, and I do hope that her skin is okay.
Me too.
She was waxed so intensely. It really is tough.
Waxing is a dangerous game because it really is if it's just a little too hot, or if you are on a medication, if you're using Trentanoin, you can get the skin ripped right off you.
I don't envy people who get waxed. I don't think I've ever done it. I don't fathom that I have.
Who do you think has to get waxed?
That's a really good question. And actually, that's a misogyny alert.
Choo choo. Choo choo. Oh, yeah, big time. Uh-oh.
We do have to just say the elephant in the room, which is that all around us is fire.
Oh, completely. Yes. Yeah, it's a hard time to be in LA right now.
Yeah, it does feel so goofy. Me emailing you last week kind of at the peak of the fire.
Right.
And me being like, I'm so sorry I have to email you. Please feel free to cancel. Or if everything's not on fire, see you Monday at 10:45.
To Gab.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's important for me, if you don't live in LA and you're seeing the news, LA is very big.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things can be happening at the same time. So obviously there's fires, and they're very scary and very devastating. But where we are right now, inside the Spotify studios, safe.
Very safe.
Very safe.
I am always shocked. It never ceases to amaze me how unprepared people who did not grow up around natural disasters are.
Yeah.
So many of my friends that grew up in the Northeast that now live in LA that only grew up with like snowstorms, no clue what to do.
Did you go? What type of natural disasters did you grow privy to?
I'm a hurricane guy, so I grew up.
I'm a Hurricane Haley.
Yeah, I grew up in going kind of back and forth between New Orleans and South Florida.
Yeah, okay.
So kind of the two hot spots for the hurricanes.
Oh.
So every single year, it's like that.
Yeah,
every
really.
single year you evacuate. Every single year you miss school. It's a thing. And then I moved here in high school, so there's been fires here, but people don't know what to do. When I lived in New York and Hurricane Sandy happened, People did not know what to do.
I will say I feel less prepared because I grew up around natural disasters because I was in Northern California. So many wildfires. I evacuated all the time. So what it takes for me to evacuate is like...
It's got to be right there.
It's got to be in my house. And then I'm like, we should think about maybe evacuating.
It was shocking to me to have to really choose what I was putting in the car. That was
And what did you pick?
And I just want to say, I'm not proud of this, but my PC... which I use for work, but it's also, I would say, quote unquote, a gaming PC.
Yeah. Sure.
That going in the car and then choosing between, it was a weird, because I was like, do I take my cameras? Do I bring these weird things? I'm like taking a fire safe with our things. I held my mechanical keyboard in my hand, wondering if it was worth it.
Right.
Didn't bring it. You know, it's really interesting. What is sort of the end of the list of the things that are the most important?
To me, it's the last thing you just bought feels the most important. Like I just bought new dry shampoo, and I'm like, well, what? I just bought it, and now it's gonna burn. Right. I can feel the money being wasted, so I'm grabbing the new stuff. We just found a painting on the side of the road. I was like, load the painting in.
Oh, whoa! Painting made it in
before my birth
Kendall's
certificate.
Obsessed with the painting now, so she's like, get the painting in the car.
Oh, I found it on the street.
Are the listeners tired of hearing about the painting, or can I hear about the painting?
Oh, you can hear about the painting. I think maybe we briefly mentioned it last week.
It wasn't brief. I talked a lot about it.
Is there any updates?
There's an update. It still looks awesome.
Well, we hung it. Kendall went outside and was like, I found a painting on the street.
Whoa.
First I didn't say anything.
That's true.
You put it up.
No, she just didn't. She just went outside, didn't say anything.
Street.
Then a while later, she was like, "Oh, there was this painting on the street," and I think I assumed she meant like a print of a painting. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, if you want it, bring it inside." And she was like, "No, that's crazy." And I was like, "Okay." And then later, I went outside to walk the dog, saw the painting. I was like, "Get your ass out here and get this painting." It's a hand painted, like one of a kind piece of art.
Painted by our neighbor.
Painted by someone who lives in our neighborhood, I guess. It is almost in the style of a Kincaid painting. It's so beautiful. We brought it inside. It matches our paint in our kitchen perfectly. So much so that we started to get paranoid that maybe there was some kind of camera in the painting or something. Like it had been set up as a trap for us.
Oh, you were worried that somebody was trying to bug your home.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is a good way, if you're trying to spy on your neighbor, put a painting in their aesthetic outside of their house, free sign on it.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea at all.
Seems like they probably already have a camera if they know the aesthetic of our home.
That is a really good point.
How many cameras are in there?
A couple of our neighbors have been in our house.
That's true. But yeah, we were like, okay, we'll bring that. I had none of my medication. I didn't have anything that I needed.
No pills.
We had a giant duffel bag full of every pair of underwear we own.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I'm like, where did I think we were going?
Yeah, where did you think you were going?
I don't know. Where I would never be able to get panties again is what it seems like.
Never, not
our
once.
underwear. Sorry to out us. We've had the same underwear for 42 years.
School.
I mean, it is horrible.
Sure. Yeah.
It says holes in it. It's like you need to buy new stuff anyways. So we grabbed it. It's very weird, the stuff you buy. I had a memory of evacuating when I was in high school, and this is very telling of my personality in high school because I was a real bitch.
Really?
Well, I was, in the drama department, and I thought I was cool.
She was like, sorry, a loser bitch. Do you know what I mean?
Really? Because I was going to say if you were like cruel, I was wondering if you were popular. Regina George.
No, I wasn't like cruel.
You weren't
I
cruel.
don't think I was cruel. I just thought I was famous, which is really
That's so awesome.
insane.
Though. Like you thought people were paying attention.
Yeah, and I had a YouTube channel. It had 100 subscribers that went to my school that I had literally been like, give me your phone. I'm subscribing. My senior quote is a link to this YouTube channel. Because I thought I was famous.
What kind of videos were you making?
Vlogs. And they were so consistent, more consistent than I've been in the last 10 years. And I would post if I had something to do, I'd be like, hey guys, 0 views on the video. Hey guys, I'm sorry I missed last week. I'm sure you guys were like, where is she? But I had to go get my braces out. And then, it was just like, it's so consistent. And I felt like when I would walk into a room, I'd be like, everyone's like, there's the YouTuber, the famous YouTuber.
I love this so much. Are these available for me to watch today?
They're private and I can send you them.
Because I feel like you should honestly, at this point now, you are a digital personality. You should at the very least react to some of your old vlog
That's
content.
true.
Reaction
Maybe
style.
I should. And I don't think you've ever seen them.
I haven't watched them.
I think you should do a play-by-play director's commentary on some of these old videos.
That's a really good idea.
I will say, they're not cute. They are, in the true sense of the word, a hard watch.
That's perfect.
They're Q&As, all questions I had my mom send me.
Oh, that's so cute, though.
I'm like, you guys are, and I just would lie. I was just like, but I felt so confident. I felt like I wasn't lying. I was like, you guys have been just like bombarding me with these questions, so I'm doing a Q&A. Truly crazy. So I remember when just to give you a little insight to how I was, when I was evacuating for a fire, my mom was running out to the car and she saw what I'd packed and I just had a bag full of my drama department awards.
Oh, that's
and that
so
was all.
cute.
Nothing else. Cat was still inside. I was just like, this is all you need.
Best ensemble.
Yeah, truly. Like fake. They're not real. They're truly not real. So,
well, they were plastic, so you knew they would have melted in the fire. So you had to get them.
You had to save them.
Were you confident in high school?
Ooh, I probably was. My high school was very small, 40 kids grade.
Wow.
So 120-ish kids in the whole high school.
Oh my god.
And I was very involved in the theater department of it all. I was we had like an improv team. I was doing that, but it wasn't hard to be kind of like one of the popular kids because kind of everyone was popular and no one was popular. But I was probably pretty confident. I don't know. I was Conrad Birdie and Bye Bye Birdie.
Okay, and that'll do it to you.
That'll do it to you. It was because that was my senior year. I was Conrad Birdie and Bye Bye Birdie. Wow. And I remember because the school was small, they waived my sexual education credit so that I could be in the musical.
Well, that's nice.
Wow.
the like head teacher was like, she was like, Miles, just to let you know, I know that it's spring semester senior year, and you have one credit that you have not done yet, and it's sex health. And the musical actually is at that time, and we're going to go ahead and waive it because we need you to be in the musical.
They're like, you've already impregnated
They were like, your experience.
That's what I needed to know. Were you such a loser that they were like, he absolutely will not be fucking? Or were you so seasoned they were like, he already knows how to put a condom on?
I think it was that, but I think also at the time I also was working for Planned Parenthood as an editor.
Okay.
I was like
in high school?
Yes, I was like editing videos for Planned Parenthood. My friend worked at this like sort of like fringe group of teenagers that worked in and out of Planned Parenthood somehow. So we were like around it enough that I think they were like, this kid knows how to put a condom on. Or
they were
whatever.
like, he's giving abortion. You don't have to make him go through sex.
This guy's operating, yeah.
Wow.
No, so somehow like they waived the credit.
So you were pretty involved in high school?
I was like, I did like improv. I did a lot of theater stuff. Did improv. Did the theater thing. Like was like writing weird plays, making weird short films. I was not making vlogs. I wish that I was, but I was making Kesha music videos to like learn editing.
Perfect.
So I was making like a music video to TikTok by Kesha or Blow by Kesha, and like me and my friends with a little camcorder. And God. That's what I was doing in high school mostly.
That's so sweet.
That is absolutely incredible. Because I feel like in high school you get involved in such weird stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're just like, I have a distinct memory of my friend was a Baha'i.
What's
the religion.
That? Oh yes. Oh my gosh, I forgot about Baha'i. I haven't thought about it in a long time.
But I think about it all the time.
There were kids that were Baha'i. Yes.
Yeah, and so he was Baha'i, and I somehow got wrangled in, and I don't think it was hard. I was like, sure. I just think it's like when you don't have a car, you're desperate for a ride.
Yeah.
So every Tuesday we would meet at a coffee shop with this woman we had workbooks, and we would like, I was taught like the teachings of being a Baha'i, and I like wasn't Baha'i. And I don't know, but I just was like, someone's got to drive me home.
Listen, when your parents work a lot, you got to find something to do. I was in so many situations like that. I used to be driven to high school by a senior when I was a freshman who put an air mattress in the back of his SUV. Oh. And I rode to school lying on that.
Why did he have that? To have sex in?
Probably.
Definitely. This guy was awesome.
And I was rolling around in my uniform being like, I got to get to class.
You had to wear uniforms?
Yes. I went to Catholic school briefly. I'm not Catholic, but it was like a good school near me, and my parents were obsessed with education and me going to a good college.
Sure.
So I went to this Catholic school. And then anytime they did anything Catholic, I would just have to sit out with other kids whose parents were exactly like mine.
Oh,
so it would
wow.
be like, there were like Muslim kids that went to my high school, Jewish kids that went to my high school. We all just had to like chill while everyone else did communion because we were not allowed to do it and didn't want to. But it was just like a really academically good school.
Oh, I've heard of that actually. I feel like that somebody was just telling me that in San Francisco there's a lot of like good religious high schools that you don't have to be religious to go to or whatever, like Catholic universities or whatever.
Yeah, I think anywhere that has like a big Catholic population, those people love schools.
They love school. Well, I'm wondering if my son Julian, it was like, we can drive him to soccer. We are going to teach him about Christianity. I'd probably be like, maybe we find enough.
Well,
listen,
they got in a different position than our parents were, okay?
It's true.
Listen, my mom was at the hospital. She was like, just get to school. See you later, queen.
It's kind of like when people talk about Pepperdine University, like anytime I talk to someone who goes there, they're like, yeah, it's really religious, but like you just kind of pretend to be a Christian and then like you get to go to the beach all the time. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I do it. I love the beach.
I do like the beach. I remember touring a college, UNC Wilmington, and I went and I was like, how's the school? And now everyone was just like, the beach is awesome. And I was like, I don't think I can go to school here. Like, if it's like nobody goes to class and they all just like the beach.
Yeah, that feels like Arizona State University or something where people are like, it's so much fun.
And I'm like, that's cool too. Yeah, and I get that, yeah.
Wow.
God.
All right. I'm ready to answer questions.
Me too. You're the best advice giver on planet Earth.
Well, thank you very much.
I
try my best. Somebody call me a perfect person. I try to give my advice the darndest that I possibly can be. And I actually do think that the show started as me giving bad advice because I don't know anything. Oh. And has become me having dealt with people calling in about this stuff before. So I am like, oh yeah, this is what I like probably might be good. Although I did recently, I worry that I ruined a girl's work experience. And this is because I just called her back and she had played an alien sex audiobook on her laptop accidentally out loud.
Sure.
She worked in an office with one other person in it.
Yeah.
She's 26. He was like 45. And her AirPods disconnected and her laptop started playing this like alien erotica about blue people on a planet and they're all horny and whatever. And she was like, I have to reset the vibe. And I told her to address it with the guy.
I have to reset the vibe.
And she was like, it's bad. Like, I'm paranoid in my office. And then, like, my advice did lead her astray, and it was awkward.
What happened? Did he, like,
I said you should. I was like, you should accidentally play, like, This American Life on your laptop, and then be like, oh, sorry, that played. It's not like that other time that was, like, totally, like, I was so embarrassed. Haha, LOL. And then, like, he would be like, oh, yeah, no worries. Yeah, that was wild. Like, that's all I was like, that might reset the vibe. And she was like, it did not. He, like, didn't speak to me for the rest of the day. So we called her Glorbin on the show. And everyone was, So it was
I will say, what people are listening to on audiobooks is nuts.
No, yeah.
I read straight porn, famously. Like, that's all I'm reading. I'm like 60 books read this year. It's like literally pornography.
Yeah, right.
But when I hear people are reading these same books in an audio version, which I assume is like a British woman.
I have to interrupt you. You read straight up porn.
Yeah, not like fantasy. It's not like Akotar. It
sounded like you were saying I read heterosexual porn. And I was like...
Oh, straight up. Hey, cool.
I got confused.
Porn. No, I read a lot of lesbian.
Yeah, well, that's why I was confused.
I don't read straight up porn. I read gay-ass porn.
Yeah, well, Kendall was like, all I do is listen to straight porn. And I was like,
you're like, what?
Porn?
Straight
you find
porn?
out I'm still trying to pretend I'm not a lesbian.
Yeah. I was like, huh?
You're like, it's literature.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. Yes, all you do is read
gay-ass, straight up gay-ass porn.
Straight up gay-ass porn.
And I hear people, they read the audiobooks. And like the thought of a British man being like, my core wanted her more than any, you know what I mean? Like perverted. Right. That's for the way they write erotica is fine reading it. But if anyone were to ever speak those in real life,
whispering it into your ear.
Because no one talks like that. Like I've heard genitals called things in smut that I'm like, this is a made up word you've invented.
Serial killer word.
It only exists in smut and that's it.
I hate it. I hate literotica. It makes me feel like a sex
Sounds
offender.
like a drag queen's name.
Literotica would be a good drag queen.
Lidiotica.
I just think it feels so perverted in a way that I don't like, which, like, don't get me wrong, like, I have sex, but it's like, it is...
Doesn't sound like it.
But, it's just so, like, they'll be like, her center quivered. And I'm like,
you're like, whoa. You
should be in prison.
Yeah,
and
you're
also federal penitentiary.
Do you eat people in your center?
The word quiver never doesn't give you a full visual. Like when it's like her vagina, like even if I'm reading it and I'm turned on, if you say her vagina quivered, I'm picturing a vagina just shaking.
Vibrating.
Yeah.
Like the blinds of a building with the AC's too high.
Yeah, it paints a picture.
No, it is scary to give people advice sometimes because we're just throwing shit out there.
But I assume that people know that it's thrown out.
You would think, but we have received follow-ups that are like, I did divorce him. And I go back to the clip and it's being like, divorce that idiot and be a lesbian. And I'm like, We're like, just idiots. We don't know what we're talking about. They're like now trying to find, figuring out the custody of our kids. I'm like, no, we have really changed the course of this person's life, but maybe I think for the better.
Sorry, I'll say this is something to know before we go into the questions. Kendahl and I are big proponents of getting divorced. If you are not happy, just get divorced.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess I worry about the finances.
Sure, but like, my mind to stay married?
No, it's not. But I'm really like, gonna be expensive.
Yes,
I'm sort of like, because it just sounds devastating. But you know what? I'm such a proponent of don't get married unless you're down to clown.
Yeah. I understand that.
You know what I mean? Because I'm also like, it's like such a big thing. Also with the kids, I love my children. I'm so like glad we have kids. But like, not everyone should have kids.
Absolutely.
For sure, definitely not.
Yeah,
right. Like, and I think it's just like because it's such a big decision.
It is a big. We do make it sound really easy. We're always like just divorce. It is really hard, especially who knows what state they're in.
But we just have people that will write in.
Oh, no. People are in horrible relationships and they need to break up.
People will write in and they'll be like, my husband's been in 300 car accidents
this
is
year. One we got.
He won't stop driving drunk or whatever. And I'm like, you simply have to divorce. Or they'll be like, my husband has been cheating for 12 years. I'm like, you have to
divorce
him.
The first like 100 episodes of Perfect Person were me telling girls to break up with their boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, my boyfriend's like a nightmare. Everybody hates him and he's horrible. Should I like keep dating him? I kind of like him. And it's like, no, just break up. You're 22. Like, just break up.
I have a true like fantasy that I have all the time of like being a man, not like changing my gender, but I have a fantasy because I feel like men can do so little as a boyfriend
that's
and be,
correct.
Just like praised so much.
Yeah.
And I think the thought of like getting to just like bring you flowers one day and it being like all over the internet and people being like, to be known is to be loved, it would make me feel so good.
Like this guy sucks ass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's like all the time I feel like female friends of mine will date people that are like, this is like the worst piece of shit ever. Everybody hates this guy. Like, why are you staying in this relationship? Yeah, it's insane.
You feel like a person that people are like, you're a really good boyfriend.
Yeah.
You're a husband, but you know what I mean?
Say that. I mean, I do think that I definitely try. I'm sure my wife would be like, sometimes you like
Wait, I need to know, what's your wife's biggest complaint of you?
Oh God. Probably that I would imagine that it's that okay, I'm going to be vulnerable here. I'm going to be honest here. It's either that I am too busy all the time or that I like think I'm right all the time, which is definitely, guilty.
Wow, you guys are the same person.
Yeah.
That's my biggest problems with Jordan.
Yeah, but I think that that's like, I would also say me and my wife are identical in that we both are very stubborn. We both think we're right all the time. We're both like, over communicators. We don't really resent much because we just say everything, which is like, good and bad. But
we were very similar to that.
Yeah, we were in an argument recently because Jordan always thinks they're right. And there was a certain point in the argument where Jordan was like, why do you need one of us to be right and one of us to be wrong? And I had to be honest. And I went, to be honest, it would feel so good if you just said you were wrong. Like, I just, separate from this argument, I need you to just admit you're wrong because it would feel so good.
Yeah, I'm the same way where I'm like, honestly, like, I just want it to be like, I want the end of the argument where we're both like, and look how we've learned. I'm also such a like, if something, okay, we're both feeling at odds, like, let's discuss it. And my wife is just like, fuck, let's just fucking move on. We don't need to say anything. Like, and I'm like, well, let's share our feelings and and she's just like, we don't need to.
That's how I am.
So I would say,
it's like looking in a mirror.
Yeah.
I am the same way. I'm like, are we still, I'm the worst. Are we still talking about it?
Yeah, you and my wife are very similar.
But I grew up in a family where it was like, fight, we all exit. Exit stage left.
Yes.
Come out 3 hours later.
Hey, what's up?
All right.
Is dinner ready?
And then we never discussed it again.
See, I grew up in a very, like, I guess speaking of Catholic high school, I went to a Quaker school. So, which was like, there was a lot about conflict resolution and, equality and sharing our feelings and this whole, like, sort of thing. So I feel like I'm always like, oh, let's discuss. And I imagine that that's exhausting for my wife.
It is, I can tell you.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure.
All right, let's get to our questions. If you are following us on Instagram, we always post the questions there. You can also email us in at hwhlpodquestions@gmail.com. If you have a longer question, especially, we love to receive an 8-part question. And we also get questions on Patreon, so make sure to subscribe there.
One of my best friends is sleeping with her coworker, a married man whose wife is pregnant. I know the wife's Instagram.
Jesus
What
Christ.
do I do?
Oh, nothing.
You can't do anything.
You can't get it. I mean, that's, by the way, your coworker sucks ass. And your coworker is sleeping with a married man whose wife is pregnant.
And you think that's bad?
What
do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go on record. Look, I know, like, obviously, we don't want to judge anyone. We don't want to. I think that sucks.
Okay, because some people are of the thought, not me, I'm not saying, but some people are like, not me. Some people think it's maybe not the person's, her problem.
And some people think that, like, if I, like, dump, like, lo mein on the sidewalk, that someone will clean that up.
So you think the number one villain is the friend?
No, of course not. The number one villain is the guy.
But maybe for getting involved.
Are we ranking villains? Is this the Justice League? You know, like,
okay.
The number one villain's obviously the guy, right? He's cheating on his pregnant wife. He sucks ass. But then, like, the number two villain is, like, number two is the baby.
Yeah.
Number three is, like, the coworker likes that it's dramatic.
Yes.
Yes.
They love that it's, like, a whole to-do. And they're looking for attention in their own life in some way.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, getting involved with someone that's so clearly inaccessible.
Yeah.
That's what I think people forget.
Yeah.
If you are attracted to married people, people in serious relationships, you know, people who are, you know, whatever, something's going on with you and you need to go to therapy and you need to unpack that.
Well, I think it's easy to be like, it's a coincidence. Like every time, like, okay, I liked that guy and then I found out he was in a relationship.
Yeah.
And what was I to do? And then the next time I liked a guy and then I found out he was married. What am I to do? It's like, it actually has never happened to me before.
Yes, no.
Not once.
I find that someone's like, oh, it's like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. Well,
bye.
That's bye.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to, because you want the drama, sort of, right? Yeah.
And it's addicting.
Oh, it can be, yeah, sure.
And it feels special to be the person, I would assume, it's never happened to me, but I assume it feels special to be like, I'm the one that's going to pull him away from his pregnant wife.
Oh, God, also just like, Jesus, that poor wife, like, you know, she's married to this douchebag.
God.
Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm correct to say this, but I will disagree with you a little bit. I'm almost kind of like...
I just want to be clear. You disagree with the fact that he said, that poor wife?
No.
You're like,
pregnant woman. I know her, and she's a bitch. No, I think it seemed like the initial consensus was that she can't do anything. Her friend, this person, their friend is sleeping.
Oh, you think she should reach out?
I think that maybe I don't know who this person is, so I don't know what their pronouns are. But I think they should tell their friend to stop.
Yeah, and right, yeah.
And then I'm like, maybe they should tell the wife.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Well, that's
you're a nosy
interesting.
Nelly, though.
That's interesting, though, because if I, you know, judge, let's not he be judged, right? But if I was the wife, would I want someone to reach out and tell me? Yeah, I would.
That's how I'm thinking about it.
Also, it's like, it's a coworker. Are they really close? No, I don't think so. So you kind of can't. If it was like, okay, let's say your best friend is doing something like this, is like sleeping with a married person. Would you like then message the wife of the married person? Probably not.
If she was pregnant, maybe.
Yeah, if she was pregnant. I mean, that's such a dick ass. It's almost like the Ariana Grande thing.
Yeah, I think the pregnant thing.
I was like, should I bring it up? Are you guys friends with her?
We are, but she's allowed us to speak on this. I'm just kind of like the pregnancy thing really changes the tone of it for me.
But the baby's coming no matter what.
Yeah, but...
So to me, we gotta know, I'm trying, because here's the thing. There's different levels of cheaters. We can put them all in the same group. I think people like to put a cheater as a cheater as a cheater. Yeah. But I think, you know, if this is a serial cheater versus a man who's having a midlife crisis because he's pregnant, which, because she's pregnant.
Yes.
And he's handling it terribly, and he is an ass, and he's being an ass. And then he like contacts the woman, this could happen, and is like, okay, no, I've decided I need to be a good husband now. Is it better for the wife to know? Or is it better to blow up her marriage not having, because the reality is this coworker doesn't have any information. This is all hearsay to her, and she actually has nothing to do with the conversation. Yeah. She blows up this marriage.
Coworker. Are you talking about the best friend?
The best friend.
There's two best friends.
I don't get it.
This one wrote into us.
Yeah.
This one is having sex with her coworker.
Oh. I I thought it was. I thought they were coworkers.
Yeah, okay,
no.
So the best friend.
This best friend is having sex with her coworker who's married and his wife is pregnant. I will tell you this. Seriously, scream at your best friend, first of all. But second of all, I'm like, we got a little time to let this woman know so she can not put his name on the birth certificate.
Agreed.
Because is that allowed?
Yeah, you can do it. I mean, you could like if they get divorced before, it changes the rights, I think, of the husband.
Or whether or not like you want him in the room with you. There's just like a bunch of things that I would want to know. And I'm also like, I do not believe a cheater is a cheater is a cheater, as we know. I've talked on this show before. I think you can get caught up in a moment of passion as a one-time thing, whatever. This says she is actively sleeping, not one time slept. She's actually sleeping with a man whose wife is pregnant. I think cheating on your wife, no good. Cheating on your pregnant wife,
fucked up.
Bad guy behavior.
Well, maybe I'm thinking it's bad because she's about to have a baby, but I'm like, well, maybe this would be the perfect time to get out. She can start her life anew.
That's why she's got to ditch him.
I agree. I think it's almost like, I mean, I don't know. If I was being cheated on, I would always want to know. Like, there's almost no circumstance where I'd be like, well, if I don't know, and then because it's like about the betrayal. Like, you'd want to know that they've like are undervaluing you. And I agree. It's not like oh, I was at a work retreat and it was one, and I feel so horrible and it's over forever. It's like, no, you did this and you're kind of continuing to do it. Yeah. It's like so evil, but. Yeah, I think maybe unless the coworker is like, or excuse me, unless the best friend is like, I'm done and I'm never gonna do it again, you don't have to get involved. But if she continues to do it, I think you gotta.
Because I'm very pro the girl who's sleeping with him reaching out to the girlfriend. That feels like, yes, that's good. I think where I get scared is that we're moving far away from this situation. Because also this is gonna end her friendship with that friend.
Yeah, but she doesn't need to be friends with that girl.
No, and it's also like, I don't think I could be, if I found out a friend was doing something that intensely cruel, then I would probably be like, you need to, like, you know, and if they are, I guess their defense, I'm trying to think of what they'd say, maybe the best friend would be like, well, I love him and he's going to leave, you know, his wife for me. And I'd be like, that's fine, but right now you can't see this person until that happens because you're just like damaging, you know.
And you don't need to be friends with people that are that delusional. Sorry, he's not leaving his pregnant wife for you.
Never.
And it's not helpful to have friends that are that delusional. They won't give you good advice. What's to stop her from cheating with your husband when you get married and you're pregnant?
Yeah.
That kind of behavior is not good.
Yeah,
I think you should create a Finsta, a fake Instagram account.
2016.
And I think you should message his pregnant wife and be like, I just need to let you know that your husband is cheating on you with someone I know. I'm so sorry to have to tell you this, but I couldn't move forward with my day-to-day life knowing that this was going on behind your back without giving you the heads up, which is what I would want someone to do to me. And then that's it.
No, I think that, I think that that's good. It's like order of operations, like yell at the best friend, you need to stop this. Then they won't stop. They're continuing to do it. The baby's gestating. You know, it's like she needs to know also, because if he's doing this, he's either going to leave her now or she finds out and leaves, or she may find out and then be like, we're staying together for this, whatever. But she needs to know that now, not when the baby is 2 months old, because when that happens, it is like fully triage mode. You just can't do anything about it.
I am not trying to put any blame on the woman who's being cheated on, but I sometimes am like, how are people's partners cheating on them without them knowing?
Who has the time?
Who has the fucking time?
I also like, I can't go to sleep if I like watch a TV show that we're watching together without telling my wife. Like, hey, by the way, like, I'm really sorry, but I did watch like Silo. You know, like I could never, the guilt that I would feel, I could never, you know.
And it makes me wonder, I'm like, am I really like controlling that I know where you are at all times?
We're together.
But I'm like,
24/7.
No, yeah, of course.
How would I ever? I don't even know when you would know immediately. I just can't. And I'm sure it's easier. We also both work from home, so maybe that's hard.
Well, I think sometimes people are in relationships and they're like not that close.
Yes, I think that's like, very true.
You know, they're like, oh, this is my like, oh, you know, she's like, oh yeah, he's off doing boy time.
Right.
Yes, and it's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
She hates him, so she's like, I don't know, just let him do it.
Yeah,
I hope he's cheating.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
How can I start a conversation with my boyfriend about my daddy issues? My boyfriend and I have been together almost a year and things are getting serious. I don't talk to my dad for a lot of dramatic and traumatic reasons. I basically just don't talk about my dad with my boyfriend, and my boyfriend doesn't ask any questions about him. I'm pretty sure my boyfriend knows it's a touchy subject and he doesn't want to pry, but I wish he would pry. I want my boyfriend to know about this because it's part of me and I feel like I'm keeping him in the dark and I don't want to. I also feel like it's stopping me from deepening my relationship with my boyfriend. I just wish he could ask something like, so what's the deal with your dad? And I would be happy to trauma dump all over him. My boyfriend is great and he's actually very emotionally intelligent, but I know he's always hesitant to ask his friends questions about their lives for fear of prying and asking questions that are too personal. Any tips about how to bring this up or have this conversation would be much appreciated.
Well,
it sounds like she should just tell him.
I feel like it might be really simple. I think wanting him to pry is tough. That's kind of a tough thing to put on him. I feel like you've got to just be like, just start talking about your dad. And if he's emotionally intelligent, it feels like he would be open to it, especially since you know he has issues in the past being afraid to pry about stuff with his friends.
When I was in middle school once, I remember I got in the car and I was sort of I was doing this thing where I was like, all moody, right? Because I was wanting someone to come up to me and be like, what's wrong? Yeah. And I got in the car and my dad was like, Miles, if you're feeling it's like, you should if you are feeling sad, you should tell, just don't wait for people to ask you what's wrong. Yeah. Because you could tell I was clearly putting on a performance of waiting for someone to come up to me. And I think similarly, she should just ask him, or be like, hey, can I tell you about this thing? I'm just thinking about my dad a lot, right? Because he's probably trying to be respectful.
Yeah. I think you can also be like, I've wanted to talk to you about this for so long. Yeah. And I just haven't known how to bring it up. I'm always a big proponent of just being really honest about your feelings. That way your boyfriend knows he didn't do anything wrong. It's not there's not an issue. It's just you weren't sure how to talk about it. And that's fine.
Yeah, for sure.
God, it makes me realize how unmysterious I am as a person. Yeah. On our first date, I was like, here's everything that's ever happened to me.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Certainly. Yeah. I was the same way. I feel like I'm always very upfront about things. Because also, I like to share. I don't know. I also usually will ask questions about people until I feel like it goes too far. Not I feel like it's tell me when to stop.
Yeah.
It's oh my God, wow, that's really hard. Did you, because I feel like people like to share, but they aren't always given the opportunity.
Yes.
I'm also don't bring it up if you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Totally.
One of my biggest pet peeves is when people are like, I'm going through something really hard right now. And then you're like, oh, what? And then they're like, I don't want to talk about it.
And it's then what? Then you want me to pry? Yeah, you want to ask again?
What do you want? I don't understand. What do you want? Let's just talk about it. Or if you really don't want to talk about it, don't talk about it. But I'm like, what is this game? Why do you want this attention? It's so weird to me. And it infuriates me because I don't need to know anything that you don't want me to know, but you clearly want me to know something. Totally. And what you want me to know is what? That you're being dramatic? Yeah. That you're being closed off? That you're annoying me?
I remember this was such a college thing, but somebody would pull out their phone, get a text and go, oh God. Waiting for someone to be like, what's wrong? Hate that. Can't handle it. Too much.
It's like giving the girl who just starts kind of humming under her breath. And everyone's like, that's really good. And she's like, I don't know. Yeah, no, don't tell them. Yeah. Sorry, I auditioned for The Voice. There's always some bitch in my high school who was auditioning for The Voice. I'm like, really? I never see it in air.
That's so
When did it air?
When did it air? No way.
That feels like such a unique experience to me. I don't know if I've ever experienced someone humming under their voice and then everyone being like, what's going on?
Well, you should sing. You should actually sing. That's really good.
I've never experienced that.
Really?
Well, I've never heard someone humming and been like, whoa. I'm like, they
have their headphones in and they're like, if I
so that's singing.
Wait, that was
and that's singing. That's actually singing.
Yeah. You know what I mean? There's always a girl who's really good at singing and she's kind of always trying to show it off but doesn't want to say that she's showing it off. Totally. And then she's like, I'm auditioning for The Voice, and then
she's like, I'm actually on The Voice.
This happened to me multiple times at my school.
That's wild.
Girls who were like, I'm auditioning for The Voice. And I was like, I've never seen them on The Voice.
It doesn't make sense because you're from a really small town. It's not like you're from Chicago or something. Yeah.
No, because those people are probably actually on The Voice. I don't know. I was like, when did The Voice come to our town?
By the way, okay, not to name drop, my friend won The Voice. It was my friend from New York, Madeline Jarmon, or Maddie Jarmon. And she literally, I was like, oh yeah, like, she posted on Instagram or something, and I was like, oh my God, she's like in the top 5 people on The Voice or whatever. And then she fucking won. And it was crazy.
God. There's a girl from my high school on The Voice right now.
Oh, really? Well, it's so exciting.
I don't know if she's been eliminated, so I hesitate to say.
I was about to say, I do feel like you've been saying this for about 1 to 2 years.
I've started lying. I'm like, I know a girl who's on The Voice.
I don't know if that season of The Voice is still on.
Well, one of the people, it was actually funny because there were multiple, this story is becoming so convoluted, but there were multiple people who were like, I'm going to be on The Voice. And then I was like, you're literally lying straight. What a weird lie, because we will see when this is not true. Yeah. She was one of those people that was like, I am auditioning for The Voice. And I was kind of like, okay, queen.
This didn't happen in my high school.
Recently, I saw her on The Voice, and I was like, she wasn't lying. Or she was at the time. I don't know.
And then it became
real. I was like, wow, she really did get on The Voice. She's an amazing singer.
Wow. Yeah, in high school, I do remember the American Idol. People would be like, I auditioned for American Idol. And it was like, oh, okay.
You waited in line, and then they told you to go home.
They told you no.
I will say, I went to high school with someone who was on My Super Sweet 16 on MTV, the birthday party show.
What? We know it.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Wasn't invited.
Wow.
She was much older. I think she was a senior when I was a freshman. There's like no reason why we would have known each other. But she was on the show.
You lived in Miami though, and New Orleans and LA. So I feel like actually cool stuff happened at your high school. The events that were like talk of the town were deeply embarrassing where I was from.
Like what? It was like a barnyard dance?
I mean, literally, yes. We did have a barn dance that was kind of like the party. But then we also had this event that I think was a charity. So I'm in no way speaking down on it. It was very fun. But it was called Dancing with Our Stars. And it would be like our dentist was like paired with.
That's awesome. Holy shit.
And it was like they'd roll out a red carpet. There was like, and there's just so much. Like,
I love that.
There's so much simulation when you're in a small town where they're like, the news is coming and we're having, but it's like our local news, but then it'll be like parents with microphones that are not real being like interviewing people.
Oh my God, I love that.
It's actually very fun.
I think Dancing with Our Stars, like I want to do a reality show that's that. With the local dentist and like the How fun is that? That's so fun. Like there's so many cool characters too.
And you can imagine how pissed I was as the YouTube sensation.
Are you kidding me?
You have one actual star in your town that has not been invited to do this, but okay.
You were sort of like in 8th grade when she does the vlogs. Have you seen the movie 8th Grade?
Oh my God, yes.
You were doing that.
Yeah.
You were like, hey, what's up, guys?
I will say one thing that's really funny now is when we go back to Kendahl's hometown, we'll see people out and people from Kendahl's high school will be like, oh my God, it's so crazy to see you. You're like famous now. And Kendahl always goes, no.
I've always been famous.
You were like, well, I was when I was here too.
No.
That's so cute.
It's very fun.
Next question.
Are you embarrassed that I said that?
No, that I'm famous.
I'm literally fucking famous.
But now it's so, I'm always like, I gotta get back to that confidence I had in high school.
Oh, me too.
Because I'm like, I'm now like, I'm an idiot loser. I'm like so embarrassed. I'm like, oh God, I don't know. I'm an absolute embarrassment. And I'm like, I had absolutely nothing going on. I see photos of myself from high school. It was hideous. I mean, I looked horrible. I hadn't washed my hair in 42 million years. And I just, anytime I'd walk into a room, I was like, everyone's looking at me.
No, I feel like I was the best at improv freshman year of college.
Oh.
Ooh.
I had so much confidence. I mean, I wasn't good, but I just felt like the confidence that I had. I was like, I'll do anything. Like that.
Yeah, well, I grew up with they're just jealous of you, Dad. So anyone that was not nice to me, anyone that was rude to me, anything, they're just jealous of you. So still to this day, really nothing hurts my feelings because everything is viewed through that lens.
Right.
I remember when I was a child, I was overweight. I would wear rolled up limited to Sophies that said like cheer across the back.
Were you on the cheer team?
Not cheering for anything other than a Subway sandwich. And I was like, I look so hot. I remember being around adults and like in my head thinking like, it must be so hard for these adults to be around me right now because I'm so erotic.
That's amazing.
And so sexual that they're probably having to be like, oh my God, I can't be weird. I have to try to like keep it inside. It's very wild. When I was younger, my bully got a bunch of people in school to call me Shamu.
Oh my God.
And
that's so cliche.
I know. And the teacher pulled me aside and was like, does that hurt your feelings? And I was like, why would that hurt my feelings? And she was like, well, because they're making fun of your weight. And I was like, I thought everyone was calling me Shamu because I'm so good at swimming. And I am so good at swimming.
That's incredible.
In the most childlike way, if you ever bring up swimming, Jordan at 30 years old still be like, I'm really good at swimming.
Well, I am.
I'm really good at swimming.
Well, I am, and I've had multiple boat captains tell me that.
Everyone knows how to swim.
By the way, I do when sometimes I have friends that'll be like, "Oh, I'm not a confident swimmer," and I'll be like, "Are you out of your fucking mind? What do you mean you're not a confident?" Like I feel so confident in the water.
Yeah, beautiful.
I'm like, I could swim anything. I could swim a fucking triathlon.
Should we all go swimming together?
That's a great idea, honestly. By the way, goggles are back. For my birthday, we dropped my son off at daycare. We went to a pool, me and my wife, and we threw rings and used goggles to dive for them. It was a delight. It was so fun.
I love that.
We love to be underwater. We really are like, we're thinking about getting our scuba license.
You should. Oh, but scuba scares me. I'm too terrified.
We're snorkelers.
Snorkeling is good. Have you seen The Deepest Breath, the documentary?
No.
Oh my God, it's about free divers. It's so scary.
Is it the one where the woman was murdered?
No, that sounds like every other documentary.
Well, I saw
they've got those, but no.
I'm sure this is probably just an episode of 2020 I saw, but there was like a free diver woman who was very famous. Her coach that was also her husband, I think, murdered her allegedly, or they thought he murdered her. None of this probably is right, so don't quote me and don't sue me. Seriously, don't.
Seriously
don't.
Seriously don't.
How do you avoid drama when it seems to follow you naturally? You are the problem. The
call's coming from inside the house.
Yeah. Well, that's like, I mean, then just don't be dramatic. Like, I feel, don't be too like crazy. I feel like people do seek drama and then they are like, oh my God, I'm dating this fucking crazy person. And it's like, well, maybe that's what you're attracting.
I know. I also think maybe even if it feels like, well, I'm in all these friendships or relationships where the person does end up being insane. And I do think I'm being, because I found myself in this before, where I'm like, I have these friendships where I find out later, I'm like, wow, I've seen your true colors and it's terrifying. But even that is, you are perpetuating that in some way. Like something in you is like, getting steamrolled, allowing yourself not to voice when you think things are weird or that you don't want to do. And then you end up in this heightened version with this heightened place with this person where they're just acting at their most insane self.
Yeah, I've sometimes advice I give on my show is like, people will be like, my friend is doing this crazy thing and like I'm ready to like drop them as a friend. And like they'll be like this whole crazy drama. And I'll be like, you know what? Just don't talk to them for a while. You don't need to have a Game of Thrones style season finale blowout in front of a Cold Stone Creamery in order to end your friendship with this person. Yeah. Just like maybe be busy next time they ask to hang out, right? Like it's okay to just fade away softly. And I think that's a good advice for everything. It's like you don't need to have like some big confrontation moment and you're gearing up to it and you're telling all your friends you're going to have this blowout. It's like just actually move on. And that's like maybe harder to do though.
Yeah, just let the sun set on your friendship.
Yeah, exactly right.
This is a long one.
Let's go.
I got a lot of feelings.
Oh.
My girlfriend of almost 2 years has feelings for her best friend. I've known since the beginning that she used to have a bit of a crush on her before meeting me, and that wasn't really an issue for me, but recently it came out that the feelings are still very much there and a lot more significant than I thought. It came out after we briefly had a discussion about non-monogamy and potentially opening up our relationship. Something that I ended up deciding wasn't for me and that she realized she's interested in, but is fine with monogamy if it's what I need. Some things happened with the friend during this period of discussion that, while not outright cheating, did lead to me being hurt and my trust being a bit broken. While I'm very aware that crushes happen in relationships and that you can't necessarily control your feelings for another person, and my girlfriend insists that these feelings don't affect how much she loves me or wants us to be together, this whole situation is really bothering me and putting strain on our relationship. This friend is super hot and outgoing, and she recently started to explore her bisexual side since leaving a long-term relationship with a man, which I think is making my girlfriend feel jealous that she can't be her first gay experience. We've discussed it at length, and I know she feels guilt and shame for how it's making me feel, but I can't seem to move past my feelings of jealousy and inadequacy. How do you guys navigate this? Am I overreacting? I really don't want this to be a deal breaker, but I'm finding myself increasingly upset and hurt by the whole situation.
Whoa. I think you either break up now or in 6 months.
The choice is yours.
The choice is yours. It seems like it's like, okay, the conversation about polyamory that ended in me getting what I want, but it wasn't really what my girlfriend want, that reeks of, okay, this is not going to last very long. Like, your girlfriend wants to be with other people maybe, and that's fine, but it seems like that's not what you want, so you can't be together anymore.
I think the hard thing is, does your girlfriend want polyamory, or does your girlfriend want to hook up with her best friend? And I think that's the big problem.
You're right.
You know what I mean? It all feels very serendipitous in the timing. I think polyamory is... polyamory is a thing that two people decide on together, and I think that's great, whatever, but it feels like she just wants to hook up with this girl.
Yeah, I think it's also like polyamory feels like you need to have an expert level of communication from the get-go in order for it to ever possibly try and be successful. Yes. You can't bully someone into polyamory, right? That obviously doesn't work. I've seen people try to do it and the relationships always end immediately. But it's like, if you're feeling uneasy about this now, this conversation will be brought up again, especially if it's like clearly about her best friend. All that feels yucky.
I think it's so hard because I never want to, talk ill of open relationships or polyamory, because I think there's totally a place for it and it works so great for some people. I think what's so hard, like anything else, a lot of people do it who maybe shouldn't be doing it, and then it kind of makes a bad name. Because there are some people that I'm like, you need to go masturbate in the shower and then go to work. Like, what is wrong with you? Yeah. Like, the need to be like, I think people just get honestly horny and then are like, what if I had 9 girlfriends and at any moment I could have sex?
Right. And
it's like, well, yeah, but then you'd also have to have 9 girlfriends. Once again, this, like, how much time do you people have? I don't understand. Yeah. I think that sometimes is, like you're saying, she just seems like she wants to sleep with this woman, and then has this word now of open relationship and polyamory that is kind of being weaponized a little bit. Because to me, the best place to start, and I'm the professional in polyamory, as somebody's ever done it. To me, the best reason to start being polyamorous, to have that conversation, is when you don't have a crush on someone, maybe.
100%.
To be like, this would just be, versus like having this driving force that's like, once my wife says yes, I get to bone Diane from The Office.
Yes. Yeah,
which feels bad.
Totally.
Yes, absolutely. I'm also like, this is not her best friend. I'm sorry. That's a controversial take Kendahl and I often have, but you don't want to have sex with your best friend.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think that it's just, there's something else going on there. Maybe they are technically your best of your friends, but
I don't have any friends.
Yeah.
You are friendless and alone.
But I'm like, I don't want to have sex with my best friend. That like changes the dynamic. It's not a normal best friend dynamic. So I'm like, your partner is already in a weird situation. Also, this weird thing of being like, she's jealous that she's not her first gay experience. Weird. Red flag.
Big red flag.
Really weird. And you know what? That brings us to one of our segments, which is red flag, green flag. And today we're talking about red flags.
Can you do a sound or something so it feels...
Red flag!
Yay!
We love that.
Perfect. So we're going to say what our red flags of the week are. I'll go first. Then Kendahl, you can go.
Perfect.
And then Miles, will you be good to go last?
Absolutely.
All right. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
My red flag of the week is ordering too much takeout. I'll say it.
How much is too much, though?
If you're ordering pickup, the limit does not exist. If you're ordering delivery more than once a week, and I don't want to hear it from anyone in the comments. If someone's like, I'm a single mom I'm obviously not talking to you. We're never talking to the single mother. I'm literally never talking about you negatively ever. I mean, if you're a normal single person in like their 20s, 30s, you are ordering delivery multiple times a week, to me, that's a red flag. I think you don't have enough time.
Yeah.
I think you don't have enough time in your relationship, because you'd either be cooking or going to a restaurant or getting takeout. That's what I think.
Get in the kitchen.
That's what I think. Why are you getting so much delivery?
Yeah, I mean, it's also just not cost effective.
It's heinously expensive.
It's so expensive now.
Unbelievably expensive. Especially like I used to get delivery more when I lived in New York. I feel like I used to get delivery in New York regularly and it was so normal and affordable, even with like a good over 20% tip.
Yeah.
In LA, I feel like I will want to order 2 burritos and it is $75.
Oh, absolutely. It's crazy. And it's like, actually, we're just another fee, $4.99 mystery fee percentage. And it's like, what are we talking about? By the way, don't even get me started on pizza. Pizza is so expensive now.
It's wild.
Yeah. Did you live in New York ever?
I did live in New York.
Because I feel like we're used to the 99-cent. We're used to stop and buy a little snack to get for my walk home.
A little fried chicken for $2.99 on my way home. A little fried chicken breast. That's how I survived in New York. I ate fried chicken breast and like Chinese takeout. That was $4.99 or whatever.
But a pizza now, $27.99.
Insane.
A cheese pizza.
Yeah.
$27.99.
It really insane.
And I will tell you, even 3 times a week, I'm like, okay, that's honestly how I live. But to me, I got a financial advisor.
Oh.
And I've been waiting to announce it.
I know. Guys, it's here.
We shoot off sparklers.
For tax season. Nothing too crazy. But he was like, I remember this was a while ago, but he'd asked me, he's like, well, and how much do you kind of like spend a month? And I like said, and he was like, oh, okay, no. Because I was like embarrassed. I was like, I shouldn't, I am embarrassed. I went out too much. I bought too many stupid things. And he was like, oh, no, that's not. A lot of my clients spend like $20K a month on delivery. And I was like, excuse me?
What?
They're doing BLD, breakfast, lunch, dinner, every day.
That's psychotic. Why would you do that? That's like, honestly, I feel this way about first class planes. Sometimes I'm like,
okay, be careful.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't fly first class ever. But I'm like, how much money would you have to have in order to do $20K a month of, that's crazy to me. That's insane. Yeah. Also, it's just like, buy eggs.
That's what I'm saying, though. I'm like, if you're ordering delivery all the time, like, stop by the restaurant and pick it up. Like, if you can't cook, stop by the restaurant and pick it up.
You'll be surprised by boiling eggs and how delicious they are.
Yes, get a salad kit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, relax. Cook at home or go out and enjoy the restaurant. There are so many options. Do a meal delivery service.
Trader Joe's frozen meals are basically takeout.
There are so many options, but if you're doing delivery 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week, I'm like, get it in check financially, but also mentally.
Yeah, I agree. I like that.
All right. I've been trying to procrastinate because I didn't have an idea.
Here we go.
So here it comes. And I want to preface this by saying I love dogs, and I think that they
Oh, my God. This might be what mine is, too.
Continue. Really?
Yeah, please.
I don't know. Well, we'll see. Okay. They should. If it is, we'll tag team on it.
Okay.
I think, if there's an animal in a shelter, big or small, it should be adopted and cared for and loved. Why do people own literal mooses in Los Angeles? These
funny.
dogs are 9 feet tall.
They're huge. They're
It's
big.
always owned by the smallest woman wearing Uggs. No judgment. I have them too. But just the smallest woman with a literal horse next to her that she has no control over. The dog is growling at my tiny chihuahua. And I'm like, this thing is going to kill me. I'm terrified of them. They're so huge, and there's nothing natural about that either.
You think
something has been done to that dog to make it that?
You think it was genetically enhanced?
I do. I think it was made in Monsanto.
They are sort of horses in a lot of ways. My wife wants us to get like a Great Dane for our second dog, and I'm like, where will it go? Where will it go? On the bed, we have a sheepdog, by the way. Already a big dog. Already a huge dog. And she's like, I want to go bigger. And I want a corgi for the second dog, which I don't even know when we're getting a second dog.
Okay, queen.
Okay, I love a corgi. I love a little corgi. But a big dog, I've got a sheepdog, and it looks bigger than it is because it's fluffy.
Sure. Our dog is the same way. She's small, but she looks bigger than she is because of the hair.
Exactly right.
Yeah, I just think I don't even know because I love a big dog. When I meet it, I love all dogs. I don't want it to be twisted.
Yeah.
But I will say there's a pattern of people who own big dogs, not even just own, but who only own big dogs.
Yeah.
We're like, I am a big dog person. I'm like, what does that mean?
You're like,
relax.
Own a
farm?
Yeah, right.
What do you? Yeah, what? And I think some people are like, so it'll protect me, and I'm like, you live in Burbank.
From what?
Calm yourself.
Yeah, from bears.
Yeah. Right.
That's crazy.
So that's my red flag. Because there's a woman very nice in our neighborhood. She has this huge, massive dog. And every time I see it, it comes from the corner and I'm like, ah! Because I'm like, I assume it's a deadly wild animal.
I like that a lot. Mine is also dog related. Okay. And it is based off an experience that I had. You know what it is? Okay. Dogs aren't people.
Yep.
Right? Dog no people. So if a dog does something crazy, that's the owner's fault probably.
Yes.
Right? Or if your dog, I saw a guy have a full baby level tantrum at the Ace Hotel in Palm Springs because he had what was a puff ball on the seat where the food was. And the guy was like, hey, you can't have a dog. Like, already you're pushing it, having the dog in here. We're not saying anything because obviously maybe it's a service dog.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, I don't know about that.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. Don't know
They
what
don't
it was
know.
servicing.
The dog
We don't
doesn't
know.
know
The dog
it's a
doesn't
service dog
know.
either.
There was no indication from
Who knows?
anything.
Who knows?
The
A
dog
Pomeranian could be servicing
and it
something.
was a Pomeranian, and who knows? And am I to say? I don't know, legally or in the YouTube comments. But the dog was, and he was like, excuse me, we just fled LA. He went into a full baby level tantrum. And I'm like, dude, put your dog just on the ground next to you.
I also think it's really selfish.
Yes.
Because I think people are always like, well, I should be allowed to have my dog in the mall. I'm like, your dog does not want to be in the mall.
No.
That is so inconsiderate to everyone around you, but also to your dog. You act like you love your dog so much, but then you're like, oh, I'm going to bring my dog to this bar at night. Well, I'm like, your dog wants to be at home sleeping on your couch or like running around in a park with you, like on leash. Like, your dog wants to do dog stuff. Your dog doesn't want to go to the movie theater and see Den of Thieves 2. Like, that's just the reality of the situation.
Dog like? Outside.
Yeah. And you know what dog like sometimes? Inside. But inside where it knows.
Yeah, inside where it knows.
Inside where it knows. Not inside Cheesecake Factory.
No,
not inside the doctor's office. Not inside an airplane.
No, certainly not. But this is a baby level event, and just having a full. I mean, also my red flag: yelling. Yelling almost no matter what. Unless you're yelling, "Hey, watch out!" I think yelling is a no-no.
Sure.
Almost ever.
And you have a dog?
I have a sheepdog.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
I have a big old sheepdog, very friendly, very sweet, loves everybody. But when I'm out in public, I have the leash and I'm holding it here and I'm making sure that there's a dog over there. I don't know that dog. I don't know if it's going to freak out. We're keeping my dog over here because I just am like, I don't want to cause a problem with other people's dogs.
Well, that's kind because that's another red flag of mine. Well, now I'm just pissed off. When someone walks up to my dog, who's a literal bitch, my dog is horrible. I mean, I love her more than life itself. She's not made to socialize.
Oh, sure.
She's horrible. She loves people.
Yeah, a lot of dogs, though, not meant to touch other dogs in the way that we're touching other dogs.
Sprint up with their 400-pound dog that's made to live in Alaska and work.
Yeah.
And they're like, she's friendly. And I'm like, okay, my dog is horrible.
Yeah, she might be friendly, but I'm not. I'll mace you.
Yeah. I had an insane experience. I was at a hotel, right? We're fleeing the fires through the smoke. Didn't want my son to breathe it in. I'm at the hotel. My wife and my son they're like, my wife put my son to bed upstairs. So they're sleeping in the bed. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go down to the hotel, do some work on my laptop. And I'm sitting there. This dog kisses me on the mouth. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. Dog jumps up on my lap, kisses me in the mouth, and I like dogs, so I was like, oh, that's sweet.
Sure, yeah.
And they're like, oh, sorry, right? The dog maybe has a leash, but it's just running around, right? Who knows? This dog's doing whatever. And then this woman comes up, and she's holding her dog on a leash, and she's sort of standing nearby, and she goes, oh, you have a doggy. The dog rushes her, bark, 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 starts going after her dog, right? The woman, so shocked, stumble, falls back, hits her head on the glass door, goes unconscious. And I'm sitting there, and then the family here, and the dog, and then everyone rushing over, and the son of the kissing dog grabs the dog, pulls it over, and is like, and goes, she just attacked her for no reason. She just attacked her for no reason. He's screaming, right? And then the EMTs come, they're checking her out, and then the general manager comes over and is like asking the family of the kissing dog, what's going on? Like, right, the kissing dog, they're like, what's going on? Like, was your dog unleashed? And they go, yes, definitely. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, certainly fucking not. And I'm the only witness to this. And and so the woman at this point, the dog kissed me. So we had some rapport, but now they're lying. And so the woman looks at me and she's like, he was unleashed, right? And I was like,
why would she do that? You're like, I wasn't saying anything.
I was like,
you gotta tell the pregnant
I
wife.
know. I was like,
yes, exactly.
Like. I was literally like, I just shook my head and she goes, no, she was unleashed, right? And I was like, you guys seem like really nice people. But your dog was not on a leash.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
I love that.
I was like, you see my... Because I was like, it's not a big deal. Just be honest. Like, because this woman is going to the hospital. Because the EMTs, they put her on a stretcher and she went out. And then I'm like testifying. And then later, I testified and the general manager was like, can you write a written statement? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Like, whatever.
When people panic,
it was crazy.
The way they lie is so funny because As if there's no cameras.
No, of course.
As if this will not be looked into. And you see it all the time where people even go so far, they'll be like asking you, what did you see? Well, check the cameras. She was on a leash. Check the cameras. It's like, I've seen that so many times where I'm like, what's your plan, Queen?
Like, what are we going towards? I don't know. But it was crazy. Very eventful. And I got the chocolate cake, and it was lava cake. They brought it out fully frozen. And then I said, I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm really sorry to do this. But like, I can't. I didn't even know what to do with. I was like, I can't eat this. Like, is it possible to make another one, whatever? And he goes, oh, yeah, I'm really sorry about that. And he took it back, and then it came back, and I was like, oh, it was lava cake. It's now cooked, and I'm eating it. But I was like, it was just frozen before.
Is truly insane.
And this is the Ace Hotel?
No, this is a different hotel. This will remain nameless because I'm in a lawsuit.
Because the kissing dog is suing you.
Yeah, exactly right.
Wow. All right. Well, those were some great red flags. Thank you so much.
Happy to.
We'll wrap it up by saying, your girlfriend's in love with her best friend,
100%.
and you absolutely need to dump her, unfortunately. I know you don't want to, but you need to.
You'll be so happy you did. I dated a girl for a while who was, the whole time was like, I'm in love with this guy. And I was like 18, I didn't know. But at the moment, it is easy to rationalize it. In the moment, you're like, thank you for being vulnerable and telling me, and we will work through this, and this is normal. And you can find anything on the internet that will tell you something's normal.
Yes. I dated people that were like, I don't like you. And I was like, I hear you, and I see you, and I love you.
And I love you, actually. Yeah.
But you'll be so happy. I mean, a normal relationship, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel I'm not ever concerned you're cheating on me.
Never. Yeah. Oh my God. Can you imagine? It'd be horrible. It's truly horrible. People, like you see on the internet, people are just like, and there's like cheating and horrible drama, and it's like your relationship should just be easy. It should just be carefree. It should feel like family.
Yeah,
nice.
And you should argue regularly
100%.
about dumb stuff, and that's
Absolutely.
it.
We argue all the time. Yeah. Me and my lovely wife.
And that's it.
Me and my lovely wife.
We do.
We gotta have her on after this.
Oh, please.
She's gonna be like, it's not good.
She's like, he's so funny.
Yeah. He's actually a squatter. He's not my husband.
He's a squatter.
I can't get him out of the house. Wow. Well, Miles, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been
Thank you for having me.
a wonderful treat. And you know what? We always do a couple of the week.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this week, our couple of the week is you and your wife.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm going to say it.
I disagree. I think it's you and your PC.
Oh, me and my gaming PC. Also a good couple. An iconic couple.
Yeah, vote in the comments whether you think it's Miles and his wife or Miles and his PC.
Yeah, two iconic couples for sure.
Two very famous couples. All right, well, tell the fans where they can reach you.
Oh, yeah. You can listen to Perfect Person anywhere you get podcasts. Also, I'm making YouTube videos recently, and that's been fun. So check those out.
Incredible.
Yeah.
All right, well, as always, I've been Jordan.
And I'm Kendahl. We've never done that.
We've never done that before. And I honestly don't think we
did. That's so funny. As always, and it's a new thing.
As always. We've always been those two people.
We've always been Kendahl and Jordan. And we have always been here, which is also not true. New studio. Once again, thank you, Spotify, for letting us film here. If you're listening on Spotify, you don't need to jump in. You've done enough. I'm just kidding. We're at the Spotify offices. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure to rate and review, or anywhere you get your podcast. It really helps us out. And we're also on YouTube if you want to watch. And we're on Patreon, where we got a bunch of fun stuff. We're about to record a 30-minute mini-sode that will be on Patreon today. So we look forward to seeing you there. And thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Yay.
Have a beer.
Bye.